So, apparently the rules of the internet have changed since I last was here because people have watched the videos, which is, like, kind of surprising when I'm an obscure non-entity MFA student teacher in a city that everybody thinks is falling apart. So, that's cool, especially since you're mostly my classmates. Looking at you, Denton. Looking at you! In any case, I've been away for a while, and to those naysayers who have been asking me where I am, I say to you, work. I wrote some shit this semester. I read some shit. I read a lot of stuff. And I taught some kids. Finally got a job. Which is really good and very happy. And now I'm back because today was a weird day. It was a weird day. And so I said to myself, I need a pick-me-up. And as any writer would think when they think pick-me-up, I went right to Emily Dickinson. Wait, no. That doesn't sound right at all, does it? I know what you're thinking. Emily Dickinson is I Heard a Fly Buzz When I Died, Shut-In, and she wore a lot of white, and, you know, like, never left her house, which is awesome. Not me, clearly. But Emily Dickinson also wrote some awesome upbeat, not quite upbeat, but let's read the poem. This is the poem that has been stuck in my head all day because I have been thinking about hope. So many of you will already know what is coming. Let's read the poem. Hope is a Thing with Feathers by Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul, and sings the tune without the words, and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land, and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. On the surface, it's a good poem. I mean, I really like this poem. On the surface, very simple. Hope is the thing with feathers. She's doing the bird metaphor. It perches in your soul. It sings a wordless tune. It doesn't stop. A non-stopping wordless tune. A melody, perhaps. It's the sweetest song you ever heard in a storm, and no storm is strong enough to make it embarrassed, and it keeps people warm in the storm. And she's heard it before in her worst places, when she was at her most unhelpful, and it's never asked anything back from her. Very simple on the surface, except hope is the thing with feathers. The first line, it's brilliant. I mean, Emily Dickinson. So, it's brilliant. Of course it's brilliant. And we're always told as writers, the first line, very important, most important thing, the thing that pulls people in. And so, I think that it's no surprise here that the first line is the most complicated thing about this poem. And so, what I remember in this poem and what I stick with and what I struggle with is the first line. Hope is the thing with feathers. I mean, I go right to birds, obviously. But when I think about birds, I think about flying. I think about nests. I think about other things that fly, and how we think of things that fly as fragile things, because we are not flying creatures. So in the beginning of all of this is the foreignness of a creature with feathers, thus the foreignness of hope itself. We can't fly. We're rooted to the ground. We're skin-wearing, heavy-boned, organy things. We're mammals. That's right, isn't it? Science people. High school biology was a long time ago. We're mammals, and we can't fly, and so it's complicated, and when you look at hope, that's what I work with right now. What I'm thinking about is all the different things that hope is. Hope is the beginnings of things. Hope is the thing that keeps you hanging on at the end of something. Hope is optimism in hopelessness. And I mean, the definition of hopelessness is no hope, which means you have to understand hope to be hopeless. Or would the definition of hopelessness actually be despair? The absence of hope. Not that you have less hope, but that hope is absent entirely. In any case, I've been thinking about it a lot because when I picture a thing with feathers, I picture something that can fly away from me. And I don't like the idea of hope as something that can fly away from me. I don't like the idea of something that it can be taken away from me, or is that foreign from me, or it's too different from me for me to understand. And though it may never ask anything of me, I'm asking plenty of it. I mean, we talk about hope as something that sustains you. Hope that something that keeps you going in an imperfect world. Hope is anticipation, and hope is also desire for something better. Complicated. So, as I'm writing, I hope things will go well, but I'm not quite sure. And as I'm starting this new semester, I hope that I'll be able to make it through, but I never know for sure, because I'm human, and I don't believe in hope, and there's another thing that has feathers too, and is also foreign. Angels? Anybody? Maybe it's another thing that is completely unbelievable. Hope is the thing with feathers. Well, it would be nice if I could learn how to fly at some point.